Hey guys, Dave Ray here from DB Restorations. How you guys doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well and staying safe and healthy. I thought I'd do a little bit of a video here for you on our beautiful 1968 Dodge Charger RT. This is a 440 Magnum car, 4-barrel, factory AC, automatic car. And it's in R4 Charger Red. So a super cool car. We got out of California and it's in great condition. Not a whole lot of rust on it, but the heat did literally beat up this car pretty good sitting out in the hot summers over there in California. But other than that, I mean, it's a great, beautiful candidate for full restoration. So I kind of want to go over a few things with you. I get a lot of questions from you guys about our process in disassembling the car. So we're getting ready to disassemble this car. The motor and transmission are already out. It's all numbers matching, and we've had those rebuilt. But now we're to the point where we're going to disassemble the car. So kind of want to go over a few things that I do personally to help me in the assembly process after the car's all back from body and paint and ready to be assembled. So before I disassemble the car, this is what I do. Of course, I go around with my camera. I take multiple pictures. But my weapon of choice right now is a tape measure. And I use these old door shim tools, these wood ones. These things are great. I use them for tons of different things that we'll get into later. But this is kind of where I put my gap mark on. That's how deep I like my gaps on my cars whenever I assemble them. But what I do is I take pictures of this gapping tool in there to kind of give me an idea of where this car was when it started life. And this car is unmolested. I mean, it's never been in an accident, never been taken apart. All original sheet metal, which is fantastic. So I'm going to go around this car with my gauge tool, and you can kind of see how it sinks in there. What I do, as soon as it touches, I'll set it right there and I'll take a picture of it. So I know it's sitting right on the top of my line. And a lot of times you can kind of see how deep the thing goes in there. This gap here is pretty fat. So if I take a picture from the side profile, I can kind of get an idea of how wide that side profile is. And if you have to, you can lay your tape measure on there and snap a picture, and it'll kind of give you where you're at with your gap down there. So I go along with the doors all the way around. I kind of take random pictures so I can zoom in. A lot of things I look at is this wing window assembly, how much gap it has in there. This is from the factory, like I said, so when it's flush. So I'll lay my tool up there like this and take a picture so you can kind of see how it's flush. Some of these do not sit perfect. They might be sitting out just a little bit. Granted, you are probably not going to get all the gaps and everything on this car exactly where it was, but if you're fighting one, you know that you can achieve this right here down the road. So it kind of gives you a starting point of where you're at. And if you're fighting something trying to close up a gap and you got this big gap right here from the factory, you're like, okay, well, the factory couldn't get any tighter. I think I'm okay. This way here, you're not beating yourself up trying to get everything perfect. But this gives you a very good starting point. So these are the key areas I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to drag this out too long, but right in here, I always check this gap. I take pictures in here, how close the trim is to this, how tight fitting this trim right here is, and the reveal on it. I'll take pictures up in the corners here of how tight it is around there. Granted, this is a vinyl top car, so it'll get a black vinyl top. I take pictures here to see how much gap my trim is. I'll try to tighten that up to make it look a little bit better, you know, whenever I put the car back together. I like to look back here of how much gap, how far this sticks out off of the sail panel here. And then where this trim is located, it's kind of tucked up underneath of there. And if you follow that check molding all the way around, you can kind of see how close it is up there. I take pictures of that. I take pictures of all my trim, how much gap there is in there, all the trunk gap, all the way around there. Same thing with this side. I'll take pictures in here. I'll take pictures how tight this is. All of this in here, same thing. I mean, this car's, everything's, the fit and finish on this car is beautiful. And what's great is, you look up underneath of here and all your reveal you want to kind of see, because when you put all that upper molding channel in there, you want to have the same reveal all the way around there as well. So that'll kind of help. There's a nice crack in the quarter panel there. That's a B-body thing. When these bodies flex, they always tend to crack right there. So this is nice too. Look how nice that door shuts. And look at this, perfectly tight all the way around. All up in here. I mean, this thing is great. It's just a beautiful, beautiful car. So I take pictures of all my gaps here. I'll lay my gauge tool in there and snap a picture of all that. Then when I get back here, I take pictures of how much gap I had in the grill. There's a lot of times you'll be putting this grill in and you're like, oh man, that's way too fat of a gap. I want to suck that fender in. And of course, when you move that fender in a little bit, you got to adjust your door, you got to adjust your door latch, you got to adjust your hinges. I mean, it just makes a multitude of problems whenever you're kind of going, oh, okay, well, they had that gap from the factory. And I measured this one here out, and it's like a 1/2 of an inch all the way around. And it's really consistent to this side here too, with a 1/2 inch all the way around. And then it has a beautiful hood gap on here, even though the hood's just sitting on here. There's no hood hinges or springs or anything else on it. But yeah, take pictures of everything. You know, all your trim, how tight the trim is down here. So you just want to kind of document all that stuff there, because once you take it apart, it's apart. You can't go back in time and do that. And I even took pictures of the width of the stripe, how far the stripe was sitting off of here. Odds are the repop ones aren't exactly perfect, but it kind of gives you an idea of where everything was on the car originally. So whenever you go to replace it, you want to try to get as close as you can to the original position. I do the same thing here with the trunk gaps. I mean the bumpers. Sorry, bumper gap there and on that side, just to kind of give you an idea. So whenever you're looking, you're like, man, it looks too high. Oh, and then you're like, wow, that's actually a lot lower than where it was the first time. So it just gives you a very, very good starting point. Okay, so I'm hoping this helped you guys out a little bit. Oh, God, I love that CB antenna, man. Dukes of Hazzard, yeehaw! Anyway, just a really beautiful original car. So we're going to get digging into this baby here pretty quick. But I thought I'd give you a little idea of what I do and kind of what I shoot for in the assembly process. I want to try to make these cars look as original as they did from the day that they were made. So by documenting this car before I take it apart, I can achieve that to the best of my ability. Odds are, I mean, you're putting aftermarket parts on there, they're not going to fit exactly perfect like the factory did, especially rubber. The rubber takes a little while to really settle in and kind of find its home. So this little gap right here is probably not going to be perfectly flat. You're probably going to be sitting out just a little bit on your wing window until that rubber settles in, and then it'll kind of find its home in there. And of course, it might need a little bit of adjustment down the road. So yeah, these cars are only original once, man. And so document them while you can, so that there you kind of know what you're looking at in the assembly process. So you guys take care. If you have any questions about this particular car in the disassembly process, give me a holler. I know I had a lot of guys ask about the grill. So when we disassemble that grill and take it out of the car, I'll make sure I do a good video about that. I'll have my daughter come out and film it so we get every little nut and bolt. Help you guys out with that. And then we're going to be digging into the Superbird over here. The Triple X Moonshine Superbird. Nah, I just put the X's on there so they didn't media blast right there. But that one there is going to get a ton of sheet metal. And so we're going to start working on that car there, and I'll kind of show you what I start to measure before I start cutting that car apart on that there. So that'll kind of help you on that side too. So you guys take care. God bless. Nice seeing you. And keep your eye open for this beautiful red 68 Charger RT. You guys take care. Talk to you soon.